welcome back to my channel and thank you so much for watching. So I'm like really roughing it tonight, guys. Right now it is like 11:30 at night. I'm in my robe. I took like a nice long shower. I gave myself like a little mini facial and I was like, I'm gonna sit down and film. I have been wanting to film this video for a little while now. I have two go-to summer looks that I've been using. Every time I go out, I basically either do this look or another look that I will also film for you guys. But these are kind of like the two looks that I've been juggling. I used a couple of new products in this video that I hadn't used before. However, all the new products are either things that are extremely similar to the things that I normally use when I do this look. Like for example, I tried out a pair of new eyelashes, which I ended up loving. So that was cool. And just, you know, little things here and there that I tried out that were new. But for the most part, this is all stuff that I've been loving. And even though some of the products are different and I switch up the products sometimes, the actual look and the color scheme and the technique is exactly the same every time I do it. So this is my more super glowy, girly, very luminous go-to look. My other look is more bronzy, a little more sultry. You know, this is I guess my more girly, simple, effortless. I love all these adjectives I'm using to describe this. The effortless look. This is the effortless look. So I didn't really know what to name this look. It's not peach, it's not rose gold, it's not bronze, it's not pink, it's not rose tones. It's just like this weird, I feel like the only word to describe it is nectar. It's like if you threw bronzed, gold, peachy, and rose gold into one big pot and stirred it together, you would end up with nectar. And that is what I would consider this look to be. So I hope that kind of makes sense to you guys. So if you're interested in seeing how I got this look, then just go ahead and keep on watching. Okay guys, so we're gonna start by just highlighting our brow bones. You can use any creamy, vanilla-y type shade. I'm gonna use this one from the Too Faced Peanut Butter and Jelly palette. I don't know, I've just been using this lately because it's been sitting on my desk and I like the color, it works. But any creamy vanilla type shade will work just fine. I'm using a Morphe M333 and I'm just gonna press this in on my brow bone. I just like to press it on as so. So I put like a very generous amount of product and press it on. And then once I've got that nice harsh line across my brow bone, I like to just drag down towards my crease to kind of blend out those edges. Okay, so for the most part in today's look, I'm gonna be using my little go-to palette. I did talk about this on Instagram story and I've mentioned it on Snapchat a few times. This is just a little palette that I created before I went on vacation one time and I don't know, I just love it. I use it all the time and it's like my little go-to palette now. So I'm gonna start with the middle shade right here and this is actually a Colourpop pressed shadow. It's in the color Wake Up Call. And this is a brush from the Eye Essentials kit. Yes, the Eye Essentials kit from Morphe. It's just the fluffy brush that comes with the little kit. So I'm gonna start to put this directly in my crease. I'm keeping it kind of low. I'm putting it directly in the crease and then blending it up slowly as you can see. And then I'm gonna flick it out on the outer edge as usual. So this is basically like our base color. This is the first color we're putting down. I'm blowing it up a little bit towards the brow bone just so that we have a nice base for all the other colors to blend into. This is like a really soft kind of like light brown, but it has a very rosy pinky undertone and I'm gonna go in with some more kind of pinkish, rosy-ish, rose goldish type tone. So this is gonna be a really nice base for all the colors that we're gonna go in with next. Next, I'm gonna go into this little Colourpop palette, and this is the Double Play palette, I believe. It's the one from their Nectar collection, and I'm gonna go in with the blush, and I'm gonna use that as an eyeshadow. I'm using a Morphe M510. I love using this blush as an eyeshadow. It's just such a pretty, like, pinky, rosy, nectarish type of a color. I'm using this brush because I want to keep this color a lot more concentrated within the crease. I don't want to blow it out so much. So as you can see, I'm keeping it directly inside of the crease area and just following my natural eye shape. But I'm really gonna build this color up because I do really want a nice pinky halo happening. Peachy pinky halo. Nectar halo, if you will. What is nectar? I don't even know. This look is so weird. Like, it's so hard for me to name this because like, it's not pink, it's not peach, it's not rose, it's not brown. I just don't know. I just don't know. So before I deepen this color even more, I'm gonna go ahead and lay down the metallic shade all over my lid. So I'm gonna mix together 2 Colourpop eyeshadows for my lid color. I'm gonna be using Come and Get It and save it for later. So I'm actually just gonna go like this with my fingers. Excuse my nail, I'm getting my nails done tomorrow. But I'm going in with this, then I'm gonna go here and kind of alternate between the two so that I get a nice amount of each color on my finger. And then I'm gonna go ahead and just lay this down like that. I love applying any metallic shadow with my finger. I just feel like it goes on so much better. I'll always apply it first with my finger and then go in with a brush after to kind of like perfect the edges or to get into any little edges that I couldn't get into that well with my finger. But I always put down the first initial layer with my finger. So now to further deepen the crease, I'm gonna go in with this tiny little brush from Morphe. It's the Morphe M562, and I'm gonna use the color Fawn from Anastasia Beverly Hills. It's just a really nice kind of like medium toned neutral brown color. So basically I'm gonna kind of like, I don't know if you've noticed this whole video, I usually do my makeup looking down like this because it's easier for me to just see what's going on and what's happening as opposed to having your eye closed all the way, because when you open it, it looks completely different. Or if you're trying to do your makeup with your eye open, it's really hard to get into any little creases or crevices in your eyes. So I like to do it like this. So I'm gonna go in with Fawn. I'm gonna start in the hollowest part of my eye, which is like right around here. And I'm just gonna start to add a little more definition to that crease area. I've been loving little brushes like this one. It just works so good and they make life so much easier. Like look at how nice and clean that allowed me to define my crease. So then I'll go back in with the brush that I was using with the blush color from the Colourpop palette. And I'll just very lightly go along those edges with whatever's left over on the brush to blend out any harsh lines. Sorry if you keep hearing Chris on the phone in the background. I'm filming kind of late today, so he's home. So now I'll just touch up the color all over my lid just in case we lost any during the blending process. So next I'm gonna take this pencil brush from Crown Brushes. It's the C513 brush. And I'm gonna take this one shade from this Studio Makeup On The Go eyeshadow palette. This is the Warm Up palette. Oh, I'm so sorry. I feel so bad that I'm using this one shade from this palette because it sucks. I always try to use colors that are either individual shadows or I try to stick to just one, maybe 2 palettes whenever I'm filming so that if you guys ever want to recreate the look, it's easy for you to get the stuff. But this brown color that I'm about to use is just the perfect color for what I'm about to do, and I haven't been able to find one that's comparable to this color, and it just works perfect with my skin tone, so I'm gonna use it. I'm so sorry. I'm using one eyeshadow from this palette. I'm sorry. So with this pencil brush, I'm just gonna go against my lash line as so, and I'm basically just gonna smoke out my entire lash line. This color, since it's not super dark, it's not super light, it's kind of like a nice in between, and it just blends so nicely into other shadows. I don't really mind if the line gets a little bit thick. I try to keep it like, you know, as close to my lash line as possible, but I'm not that picky. This color is just really nice because it's like a medium tone brown and it has like kind of like a shimmery sheen to it, but it's not super glittery. So it gives a really pretty effect to the lash line and gives a nice like effortless smoky effect, but it still isn't too dark, you know? I'm gonna take this other Crown brush. This is the C462 brush. It's kind of like a short, flat, bat brush. And I'm gonna take a little bit of the color that we just used from the Studio Makeup palette, and I'm gonna mix it together with Colourpop's Cloud 9, which is also in my little go-to palette. So I'm gonna put an even amount of each color on the brush, and then I'll tap off the excess, as I always do. And then I'm just gonna press this directly into my lashes, like as close to my lash line as possible, just to kind of intensify the smoky effect a little bit more. But I'm keeping this directly in my lashes. I'm keeping this very thin. I'm gonna go ahead and finish up my other eye and then clean up under my eyes, and then we'll go ahead and do the face makeup because yes, today's video is a full face tutorial. I haven't done one of these in forever. I'm super excited. Okay, so I went ahead and finished up the other eye and I cleaned underneath of my eyes, but I forgot one step. So I'll always take like a really pretty kind of like metallic-y looking shadow. My favorite one, it's been my favorite one for a while, is Colourpop Crimper. So I'll take a little bit of this just on my finger once I'm done with my makeup, and I will just pop some of this right in the center of my eye to add like a nice little glossy pop of gold right in the center. Okay, so now I'll go ahead and prep my skin, and the first thing I always do is I spritz over my whole face with a nice hydrating spray. I love facial sprays. It's like this weird thing, I just love them. So I've been loving the Mario Badescu facial spray with aloe, cucumber, and green tea. So now that we've got that spritzed all over, we can go ahead and add our primer. For primer, I'm going to be using the Hangover Too Faced Primer. You guys know I love this stuff. So whenever I do this look, I kind of try to go for a little bit more of an effortless, softer glam. You're gonna see I'm gonna do my other go-to look. My other go-to look is just a little bit more over the top glam. This is a little bit more like subdued glam, if that makes sense. Give me a second, I'm getting a phone call. Sorry about that, I got a quick little phone call. So when I do this look, I like to use my Armani Luminous Silk Foundation. This is like a good coverage foundation, but it's not super full coverage, and it gives me that nice luminous dewy look that I love so much. This is probably my #1 favorite foundation. Like, this is the foundation I think I use the most, and it sucks because it's expensive and it's pricey, but it's the bomb. It's the bomb, guys. So I went ahead and put a nice thin layer of that all the way across my face, and now I'm gonna go ahead and color correct underneath of my eyes. I've been loving the Smashbox color correcting stick. This is the light peach one. So I don't use a lot of this. I just put a little bit right where I tend to get a little bit of darkness, which is right here. And then I'll use my blender to go ahead and just bounce that into my skin. It blends out super duper easy. And like, you can instantly see how brightening it is. Like, it's awesome. For concealer, I'm still loving my Tarte Rainforest of the Seas. You guys know that I cannot get enough of this concealer. So I'll just go ahead and put a little bit right here in my under eye area. And then I just blend it out with my blender using little bouncy motions. So now I'll take a little bit of my Laura Mercier powder and this little sponge from Real Techniques that normally has a nice little point to it, but you know, Olivia got to it, so I gotta get a new one. But for now, we're gonna have to make this one work. So I'm just gonna go ahead and buff out any creasing that may have already happened right in my under eye area. And then I'm gonna take my sponge with the Laura Mercier powder and just set the area right under my eyes and down the side of my nose. And that is it. I also like to put a little bit of powder right here, just because, like in this little tiny area, just because that's where my pores are the largest. So when I do this, it kind of helps to minimize the pores a little bit. And it helps me with any oil breakout, because I do tend to get just a touch of oil breakout right there. So now I'm gonna go ahead and cream contour using this Maybelline Fit Me stick and the color 340. Right now, this color works pretty well for me, but as soon as I get a little bit more tan, I have to use the shade darker than this one. So this is just really nice because you can just draw your lines just like this. And as you can see, it's like a really nice warm color. So it gives the skin like a really nice, beautiful, bronzy effect. And then I'll just take my blender and I'll take the side of it and start to buff out. And then if I ever feel like my contour got like a little bit messy, I like to bake underneath of my contour with the Cover FX Perfect Setting Powder. I like to use this powder to bake underneath of my contour if it ever gets messy, as opposed to the Laura Mercier, just because Laura Mercier can be a little bit drying and it's a little bit cakey. This is a little bit more, well, it can get cakey. It's not cakey, it can just get cakey if you layer it up too much. And this is just a little bit more lightweight. It has a little bit less color to it. It doesn't have like that creamy vanilla color like the Laura Mercier has. It's like, I don't know how to describe it. It's just more lightweight, and I like it better in this part of the face because it doesn't make it look heavy. So I'll put this down, I'll let it sit for like, I don't know, 10 seconds, and then I'll just wipe it away. I don't like to let it sit for too long. And that'll just clean up the contour nicely. So from there, I'll go ahead and bronze. Whenever I'm doing this look, I like to use my e.l.f. bronzer palette. I'm constantly alternating between Laguna bronzer and the e.l.f. bronzer palette. But for this look, since I already cream contoured, I don't want anything too heavy. NARS Laguna is a little bit darker. It's a little bit more pigmented than the e.l.f. one. So I like to use that on its own. When I cream contour and when I bronze on top, I like to use the e.l.f. bronzer palette. So I'm gonna be mixing together the 3 first shades. So all 3 of these. The only shade that I avoid is this one down here because it's a little bit too deep for my skin right now. When I get more tan, it works fine, but right now it doesn't really work. And I'm using this little brush from Japanesque. And I'm gonna kind of like very lightly go over the contour, but I'm barely putting any pressure because I don't want to put down too much product. And then for the forehead, I actually like to kind of like press it in like this. I feel like it makes it look more blended, you know? So now what I've been doing is I've actually been going into this little Becca and Chrissy Teigen palette. I just recently picked this up and I've really been liking it. So what I've been doing is I've been picking up the color Rose Gold from the palette. It's the most beautiful. I've never seen a highlighter like this before. It's not rose gold, it's not bronze, it's not peach. It's like this perfect in between, like if all those colors had a baby, I made this beautiful, it's like a bronze rose gold is like what it is. It's to die for. It's freaking amazing. I'm obsessed with it. So to give my skin that really nice, beautiful, all over glowy effect, I'm gonna go into this color with a Real Techniques, what kind of brush is this? The blush brush from Real Techniques. I'm gonna pick some of this up on the brush and I'm just gonna kind of dust this over all the high points of my face. So kind of like over my eyebrows. I'm gonna bring it around to this area. You see how beautiful that is? Just right here like that. Kind of bring it all over the cheeks. I'm gonna bring some down the middle of my nose. Right here on the upper lip area. I like to put a little bit on my chin, but you can skip that. And what's nice about this highlighter is that since it's so kind of bronzy, it doesn't wash you out. It gives your skin like a really nice bronzy effect. Oh, I just want to keep putting more, but I gotta stop. So for blush, I've actually really been loving the blush in this palette also. And it has a really nice, beautiful kind of like peachy, pinky, nectar-y type effect. So it kind of ties in with everything that's going on. So I'm gonna be using my Morphe M530. This is my newfound favorite blush brush. I'm gonna pick up a little bit on the brush, tap off the excess, and I'm gonna do a little smile like this and start with very light pressure and kind of like circular motions. I like to start doing little circles right here on the apples and bringing it slightly up. And I'm having three little breakouts, three serious breakouts right here that they're gonna turn into beauty marks in a second. I need a facial so bad. I just have not. I've been going on a lot of vacations and every vacation that I've gone to has required me being in the sun. So I don't wanna go get a facial and get like all these treatments done onto my face and like strip off the first layer of my skin and then be in the sun. It's just not good for your skin. So I've been waiting for all these things to pass so that I can go ahead and get my facial. And to do this right now, I'm using the tip of a scissor and the color Cloud 9 from Colourpop. The tip of this little scissor, I use this to cut my eyelashes. It's just really tiny. So it does a really good job of making the perfect little dot for the beauty mark. So, you know, I'm just here, just improvising. So to further highlight the face, just like the high points, I'm gonna go ahead and pick up the Colourpop little duo again and double play. And I'm gonna be using the little peachy, nectar-y looking highlight from the palette. I'm using my Morphe M510. And I'm just gonna use this to highlight the highest point of the face, so like, right there. And this highlighter, I tell people all the time, it swatches really bad. Like, it just does not swatch well. But on the face, it looks so pretty. So that Colourpop killed it with the name of this collection. They named it the Nectar collection, and like I keep saying it, because it's the perfect combination of like peach, gold, and like rosy tones. It's like nectar. It's just nectar, you know? Put a little bit over here, over the brows. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and finish up the under eye area. I'm using my Morphe R41, and I'm gonna go in with that same blush from that little duo, the one that we used right in our crease. And I'm just gonna smoke out the whole lower lash line. And I'm gonna connect it to the top piece. Okay, so once you've got that nice and blended out, I'm gonna go ahead and pick up that color from that Studio Makeup palette that I was using. And I'm gonna use the same brush and do the same exact thing. So I went ahead and popped on the lashes, and I did some brows obviously, and I'm really liking them. They're kind of reminding me of like the Slayla kind of lashes, because they're very like, I don't know, they're like spiky, but they're like really sleek. I don't know, I like them. They're really pretty. So for eyeliner, I'm gonna be using this shadow stick from the company Beauty for Real. I got this in a Boss Charm a couple months ago and I love it. I used this in my Easy Smoky Warm Toned Eye video. It wasn't the last video, it was the video before, and I love this. You guys have no idea how much I use this shadow stick. So in the last video, I kind of put this within my lashes and kind of took it down onto the lower lash line. But with this look, I don't do that. I kind of just put it right in my waterline, as you would with a normal eyeliner. It just gives like a really pretty bronzy type effect. It's very subtle, but I like that about it. So now we can go ahead and put a little bit of mascara on the lower lashes. I have been loving the L'Oreal Voluminous Lash Paradise Mascara. It is so good, like it's amazing. I need to get the waterproof version for my lower lash lines because it does transfer onto like your under eye area and it'll leave little dots throughout the day, like if you sweat or if it gets really humid. So I do want to get this in the waterproof version for my lower lashes, but it is so lengthening, it's so volumizing, like it's definitely my new favorite drugstore mascara. Like I can say that right off the bat very quickly. And I'm going to be using the same Colourpop highlighter that we used to highlight our cheekbones, the one from their the Double Play palette, that one, yes. And actually I want something just a little bit lighter, so I'm gonna go ahead and pick up the Ofra highlight in the color Rodeo Drive and do this one really quick instead, right on top. Yeah, this is just a little bit brighter. And then I'm gonna use whatever's left over on the brush right up here. Okay, so for lips, I'm gonna go ahead and use this one from Tarte in the color Skinny Dip. I love how nude this lipstick is. Oh, and this formula, the bomb. So now I'm gonna go in with the lip topper from Jouer Cosmetics in the color Skinny Dip. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope you love this look as much as I do. Obviously, I really love this look. If not, I wouldn't do it as often as I do. I hope that some of the tips from this video were helpful. And please, if you ever recreate any of my looks, just tag me. If you post it on Instagram or Twitter, I love to see your recreations. It's so amazing when I see people that recreate videos that they followed. I'm like, yay, somebody likes the video and they got something from it. It's so exciting to me. Other than that, I think that's it. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're interested in seeing more of my videos, please just go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Thanks guys, and I will see you in my next video, which will be my #2 go-to makeup look for the summer. So have a good night guys. I'm going to bed right now. I hear my dogs. They're like out there, they're barking, they're laying down. They're all like, come to bed, mom, come to bed. So I'm gonna go answer to my little puppies. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye. Take it easy. And you know how to forget all the wrongs and every reason why we've changed. And there's a storm inside my head. It's getting me in trouble, baby, and I can't